Hey, let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off and get cooking. Hey, one of the things that we all have a challenge with is getting our leads to show up. So one of the concerns that was expressed over the weekend is how do you get people to show up? You have the conversation, they agree, they want to bring their kid in, they may have bought a trial, they may have just signed up for a free offer, but they don't make it. So how can we get more people to show up? Well, here's the secret. You ready? Give them a bigger reason to show up. In the phone dialogue, one of the points of conversation is, well, Mrs. Lewis, I'm curious, what is it that you want your child to accomplish in a martial art program? Well, what do you want them to gain? Once you ask that question, what you'll hear is what they're most interested in initially. But the challenge is typically what they're interested in initially isn't big, isn't bold enough for them to show up. And let me give you an example. So, Ms. Smith, I'm curious, what interests you most about martial arts? So what do you want your child to gain in the program? Well, I want them to have fun. Oh, yeah, we serve fun up here. Yeah, come on down. We'll have a lot of fun. Listen, they just opened up a conversation you can have to change their mind for the better. So whatever they say they want, well, I want my kid to learn how to protect himself. I want him to have fun. I want him to meet new friends. Whatever they say, tell them, oh, yeah, you'll get it here. But take it one step further. Well, Mrs. Lewis, I assure you your kid's going to have a lot of fun. I mean, there's nothing more fun than learning martial arts. But besides fun, what else would you like him to accomplish? Now, that's an open-ended question, but I want to change their mind about what's available. So in the phone dialogue, we do what we call prime the pump. So let me go back and recap. So, Ms. Smith, he's going to have a lot of fun, I guarantee that. A different kind of fun. Not the kind of fun where he laughs and rolls around, but the kind of fun where he feels a sense of accomplishment. He's going to want to come back each and every class. But besides that, hey, what else would you like your kid to accomplish? Now, here's where the prompt priming comes in. Do we need to boost his self-esteem? Do we need to increase his confidence? Physical fitness, is that a concern? Is self-defense important? Well, what else would you like him to learn and gain from our membership? Now I've just changed their mind about how valuable this program is. See, fun you can get anywhere. I mean, fun is an amusement park. Fun is an arcade. Fun is another video game. But that's not a big enough reason to get all of them to show up. So you got to take it one step further. So one last time, reiterate what they've said. Well, I guarantee Ms. Lewis, he'll have a lot of fun. And it's a different kind of fun, not the kind of fun where you laugh and giggle, but the kind of fun where you really feel good about what you're doing and you'll want more. But besides fun, what else would you like your child to accomplish in our program? Do we need to boost his self-esteem, build his confidence? Is physical fitness a concern? Is self-defense important? What else do you want him to have? And they're going to pick one. Well, I guess he could use more confidence. Don't stop there. Take it one step further. Well, if your child was as confident as you wanted him to be, you tell me what would be different. Now you've just secured the appointment to show because we gave them a big, bold reason that they may not have considered. See, the number one reason why they don't show up is, we'll do it next week. It's not that important. But you got to change their mind about the potential impact. And that's how you get more people to show. But let's not stop there. Confirming this appointment is extremely important. I work for Grandmaster Clark in Jacksonville, Florida. I help co-manage the academies. And one of the academies we're closely working with is the Monument location right down the street from headquarters. And one of the things we've started doing as of a couple of weeks ago is that we send videos. We send videos to, first of all, welcome them and tell them we know about the appointment that's coming up. So the moment appointment is booked, now the master instructor there, his name is Master Lopez, great guy. He shoots off a video, and it's a welcoming video. Hello, I want to introduce myself. My name is Master Lopez, and I understand that you're coming in for your very first lesson, and I'm the instructor who's going to help your child go through his very first lesson. Hey, let me show you around the academy. They simply shows around the academy and says, I look forward to teaching your first lesson. He says goodbye. That has helped more people show up. Why? There's a personal connection. So in concert with giving them a bigger, bolder reason for showing up, we're going to shoot a video, let them know who we are and what we're going to do for them. And then we also have to confirm the first lesson appointment the day before and the day of. Now, listen, a appointment is not confirmed unless you speak with someone or there is a text exchange where they confirm that they're coming. Leaving a message is okay, but hearing back from them is actually better and will increase the likelihood they show up. So let's recap. You want more people to show up? Give them a bigger reason to schedule that appointment. You want more people to show up? Introduce yourself within minutes, certainly within the first 25, 30 minutes after the appointment is made by you shooting this welcoming video. You want more people to show up? Confirm the day before and the day of. And the appointment is not confirmed unless you've heard back from them, either by having a conversation or they further confirm via text. Master Pesky, what do you want to add to that?
That's all of it. I mean, we're not confirming and getting them to say they're going to show up. There's a difference between telling and getting confirmation. For all of you guys, I mean, everyone on here is an instructor. If you say, "Are you ready?" and they don't say, "Yes, sir," we don't move forward. Well, on the phone, if I don't confirm they're going to show up and they actually say, "Yes, we'll be there," they're not confirmed. There's no way to move forward. So we have to get a hold of them. We have to leave a message, even if I have to double dial and leave a text. If they don't reply to it in a couple hours, we'll text them again and say, "Hey, if we don't hear back from you, we'll have to give someone else your spot. Please reply." So, I mean, we will imply a takeaway to further nudge them, because if we can't get compliance at any level, we're never going to enroll them. So we want to make sure that we get how the relationship starts is how it will stay.
Yeah. The second concern that was asked last week was, what pricing strategies do you use for your program? Well, I'm going to give everybody a shortcut. Ready? Here it is. Be more expensive than any other academy in town. Just decide right now that you will be the most expensive. Well, hold on now, Fred. You don't know our community. You don't know our neighborhood. You don't know the demographics. It doesn't matter. Be the most expensive. Listen, we live in North America, and most Americans assume if something is more expensive, as my nephew would say, if it's more expensive, it's got to be more better. Listen, don't let price get in the way of you helping more people. And the shortcut to helping more people is to come across as though you are the absolute best. And the shortcut to being the absolute best is to charge more than anyone else. Because most of us, we decided on our pricing schedule based on what somebody advised us to do that probably didn't give you the advice I just did. Or we look around town, figure out what everybody's paying, and try to fit in the middle. Skip all that. You got a choice. You can have 100 people paying $100, or you can pay 50 people, or have 50 people paying $200. Guess which one is, again, more better? Become the premium program in your community. The idea that if I make my membership more affordable, I'll make up the difference in volume has never worked. It will never work. As a matter of fact, the more people you have to serve, the more expensive that operation becomes. And if you're charging if you're the least expensive in town, well, you're always going to be dealing with some financial challenges. And there's something else too. Charging less will attract a different type of clientele. Now, I know everyone on this call wants to help everybody, but the first body you got to help is you and your staff and your family. Go in the direction of a premium pricing. Now, in terms of how to charge, there's a lot of ways to charge. You can sell a program with an outcome. You can go month to month. You can do all kinds of stuff. Let me tell you what's most important. I think we have to be in alignment with what we want to happen most often, and that is students showing up. So my strong recommendation is to base your monthly tuition rate on the number of times you want that student to come to class. And here's a real quick example that I see across the country. To come to class one time a week, your tuition rate is $199. To come 2 times a week, your tuition is $249. To attend class 3 times a week, you guessed it, $299. To come 4 times a week, $349. And to have unrestricted, unlimited training, $399 a month. I want you to write those down. Let's start over, okay? So put 1/199. Write this down. 2/249. 3/299. 4/349. And then put UL, unlimited attendance, $399. Now, I'm not asking you to change your price today, but why don't you use that as an example? See, sometimes all it takes is you to become more familiar with the idea of charging more, where you'll wrap your arms around and embrace it. But this idea that we need to make our program more affordable so more people can participate is a surefire way to never do well financially. So let me,
On a on a side note, I think might be one or two people on this call that might be charging more than that already, and we're not suggesting you lower your tuition.
well, thank you for bringing that up because I know we got some real players on here. But sometimes you got to see it so you can believe it. So just by writing the numbers down, as a matter of fact, check this out. Write the numbers down and just repeat it. Repeat it. Have conversation with your spouse or your staff members. Just talk about charging more. Because I think what happens more often than not, because we're not cool, calm, and collected and asking for more money, we're so uncomfortable we don't do it. So just become more familiar with the tuition rate. And my recommendation is start basing your tuition on what you want repeated. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is class attendance. But let's take it one step further. Let's talk about accelerating rate of pay. Once somebody agrees to pay a tuition amount at a certain level, you always have the opportunity to get people to pay faster. So another tactic you can use to collect more money is to invite people to prepay a set number of months. And here's the example of that. When somebody prepays 12 months in advance, the savings should be 10%. Flat rate, maybe $500. If they choose to prepay 24 months in advance, I think the percentage of discount could be 15%, or perhaps a flat rate of 10. If they prepay 36 months, let's say $2,000, which works out to be about 20%. If they prepay 48 months, well, that deserves a 25% savings. In most cases, if your tuition is in the neighborhood of $300 a month, it's about a $3,000 savings. And if they choose to prepay 60 months, yeah, I said 60 months, give them a savings of 30%, which typically on a tuition rate of $299 works out about $5,000 in savings. Write that down. Decide right now that we're just not going to talk about money. We're going to talk about the number of months that a student commits to. Now, the caveat to this is have them commit to a number of months that will take them somewhere, outcome based. For example, let's say I have a student who's been around for a year and he's a green belt. I'll sit down with him and maybe set the goal to become a fourth degree. So I'm going to invite him to commit to the next 48 months at a savings of 25%. So that's another way we can accelerate how quickly people pay. Because after all, as we all probably know by now, there's only 3 ways to make a professional income in our business. And here they are. Number 1, enroll people at a premium. Number next, charge more for everything. And the third, collect faster. Collect faster, not just on tuition, but everything. What do you want to add to that, Master Pesky?
Well, actually, I think that covers it. I just realized we have quite a few questions coming in from the chat. Whenever you're ready to shift gears, let me know.
All right, go ahead and let's read the first question.
All right. So Professor Darren says, what happens when you have students that want to quit? I've told them about setting goals for the next rank and even waive their test fees, and they're still set on leaving. What can you do to convince students to stay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
Okay, I just answered this question with one of our private coaching clients the other day. The absolute number one way to improve and boost retention is upgrade the level of membership that they are on. A lot of people think, oh, I've got them signed up and now they just got to keep them. Well, you keep them by taking the relationship to the next level. I think we even might have talked about this in here last week. You see someone nice, you get their number, you might invite them out for coffee. If you have a good time, you might go on a date. And if you go on a few dates, you might decide to become exclusive. And then you might decide to get engaged and then maybe married. And the relationship continues to escalate. And heck, even people that have been married for 20, 30 years, what do? Sometimes they will go and renew their vows. Why? To recharge the relationship. Now, if a student, the flip side of that is you have to accept the notion that everybody quits. Everybody. Now,
let me jump in on this one. May I?
Okay, sure.
When we say something as bold and audacious as everybody quits, I know we just offended half the people on this call. Oh, no, not everybody quits. I've had this one guy for 20 years. Everybody quits is a mindset. And let me explain what I mean. I had a friend years back when I used to live in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, I served time there. I'm saying that jokingly, of course. He owned a florist, and he said, and we were talking about his customers, and he said the number one customer that he deals with is somebody who's trying to make amends. Think about that for a moment. I mean, ladies, the last time you got flowers, it was either your birthday, anniversary, Valentine's Day, or he made a mistake. Yeah, so flowers are a way of making up for whatever mishap you may have created. The idea that after we screw up, we can buy flowers to get our member back, well, get that out of your head. So the mindset you have to have is everybody who trains tonight, somebody in that class, it might be their last lesson. You don't know who it is. So teach like it's all of them. Teach every class like this could be the last class this person ever takes, and you will keep your student longer. So the mindset of everybody quits isn't the idea that everybody actually quits, because we know that's not so. Some people stay forever, but this is your mindset. If everybody quits, I'm going to do everything I can during this lesson, this class, this evening to change your mind about how important this program is. So if you want to slow down how fast people quit, make up your mind that you got to prevent that from happening each and every lesson. But to go back to what Professor Meyer asked, what do you do after they want to break up? Listen closely. Think about your personal life. If you've ever ended a relationship, it wasn't an impulse idea. You thought about ending the relationship over the course of days or weeks or maybe months, or some people over years. The problem is, once that announcement is made, their mind is made up. And to change their mind, well, there's not much you can do. And to prove that, Professor Meyer, you said you even offered to give them money in the form of an exchange, free testing, whatever, and they still wouldn't do it. Because when they tell you they want to quit, when they give you that notice, when they send that text, or they shoot that email, or they drop that handwritten note off, it's almost too late to resurrect that relationship. So let's start today by having this mindset that everybody quits, and my job is to prevent that today. Then I'll prevent it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And the way you do it is create a relationship with each student where they understand where you want them to go, where you want to take them. And that goes back to what Master Pesky says. If you want to keep people longer, sign them up for a more meaningful program, a bigger, a bolder, a better outcome. This is how you slow down the attrition rate and keep students longer. You want to add to that, Master Pesky?
Nope, that's it. All right. So next question. How are you upselling the parent to join when signing up the child? So there's 4 steps here. We're gonna present the family, fall back to the child only if necessary. Then we put the membership on sale after they've signed on the line that is dotted, and then we give it away. So to explain that, when a person, on the phone, we let them know that they're going to be on the workout floor and we get confirmation. Okay. Oh, okay. If they say no, it's just for the kid, we reiterate why we want the parent on the floor for the intro, and we ask them again. Okay, I've got to get that confirmation. Now, when they come in, we just pretend like they signed themselves up too. And everything we do is about the family. This is how a family enters the academy together. This is where the family stows their shoes. This is where the family comes over and grabs their attendance card. And this is how it works on goal setting and achieving. Now let's come on the training floor. We all bow together. Now you're going to stand here. Parents, you stand behind them. Today is the first day of your martial journey towards one day becoming a black belt. And we take them through the orientation lesson. At which point we let them know, hey, congratulations. It's easy for me to see when a family is ready to begin their training. Everything is family, 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 family. Now we present the membership and the tuition. And if they don't say yes, then we ask, well, are we considering the family or maybe just Timmy? Well, we might just need to do Timmy. Oh, well, in that case, it's just half. And we go down that route and we get them enrolled. And then we put it on sale. And then after it's done, if we didn't enroll the family, after it's all done, we let them know. Now, Mrs. Smith, one thing that we've learned in our many years of teaching martial arts is that the first 30 days is critical to get them started off on the right foot, make sure that they are well established on their path to one day earning that black belt. So to help support your child, I'm going to gift you the next 30 days for free. No strings attached. I just want you out here with your kid, just like you did today. It was fun. And I want you out here to best support them in getting started and establishing our program. Okay. Okay. So, and they don't all say yes. We typically get about 35 to 40%. But the best of at that stage. But the best part is, heck, 95% of them that get on the floor and do their first few lessons and they get that our next mission is to get the stripe on their belt. And once they get the stripe on their belt, we present them on a membership. And literally half of our staff started like that. Getting adults in your program is the shortcut to building a mature staff that can help you grow your business. And so we start off with the parent. We don't upsell to the parent. We start off with the parent in mind and we fall back to the kid, but then we go ahead and give the parent a membership too. And it's not about for you to learn self-defense or for you to lose weight or any of that stuff. They've already said no. They said, no, that's not for me. So on the fall and the giving it away, it's all about supporting their kid. Right. And that's why they're there in the first place.
Let's take it one step further. One of the challenges that we run into when trying to include the parent is that just look around. 60% of adults here in America are deconditioned. It's like 45% are obese. So the average adult, the average parent is not physically fit. I mean, just take a look. So one of the challenges we have is most parents don't think they can do it. Now, the way we can overcome that concern is through lobby engagement.
Yeah.
Most of the academies on this call, they do have a section of their academy where parents sit and watch. It might be a lobby. Heck, I've even seen aluminum stadium seating. I've seen all kinds of stuff. The parent is not engaged if they're simply watching. So one of the ways you get more parents involved is interact with the lobby and have the lobby come out onto the mat. Let's try this for the entire month of February. At the start of class, after you do your formal bow in and maybe after the warm up, turn your attention to the lobby and say, parents, I'm going to give you a heads up. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to need to loosen your laces because you're going to come out to the mat and do X, Y, Z with your student. Okay, got 15 minutes. Now, the parents who are overwhelmed with what's a fancy word I can use? With the apprehension of walking out on the mat, they'll excuse themselves. They'll go out to the car or whatever. But the parents that remain, bring them onto the mat. You got to realize that that's the hardest part for a parent to start, particularly if they're deconditioned, is just to simply kick their shoes off and come out to the mat. So slowly introduce them, indoctrinate them. How about this? Set a rule. In the month of February, every single class, you'll turn your attention to the lobby and forewarn them. Parents, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you to loosen your laces, come out to the mat, and we're going to do this, that, and the other thing with your student. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then bring them out onto the mat and do the coaching. Help them have a positive experience. Then after you've done this over the course of the next few weeks or maybe the entire month, you're going to notice something. You're going to notice that these parents are not only less apprehensive, they actually are ready for it. Master Pesky, we introduced this to your academy some 10 years ago. Would you kind of give details on how we made that transition and now how we have more adults in our 5 programs than children? Would you share that with the audience?
Well, we just figured out if the 45-year-old mom who's out of shape can't do it, well, then let's not do it. Like we went to visit one of our superstar clients today who, when we went to go visit his academy a few years ago, the warm up was running around the room to crazy music and then doing relay races across the floor and then doing crab walks across the floor as fast as you can and running backwards. And I mean, just jumping over each other. And there was a lot of energy and, it was fun. But the problem was the floor was littered with kids and every parent in the building was over on the side in the lobby. And it's like, okay, well, here's the problem. All those people over there on the side, the ones that you want to get on the floor, they will never get on the floor because they can't do that. And when they see all this, high intensity, super athletic stuff going on out here, they're over there going, oh yeah, that's my kid. And they will never think, oh, I can do that too. In fact, they think if I did do that, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed tomorrow. So tone it down. Just calm it down a little bit and make the warm up an actual warm up versus a complete butt kicking and get more people involved. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have intense training, but let's not do that if we're trying to get the mommies on the floor, right? That is something that you can do in a higher level training class, or that's something you can do if you want to have a separate conditioning class. There's a lot of ways you can do it. We have a Gold Quest program. There's a dozen different ways you can add that type of training into your regimen. However, the first thing I'm trying to do is fill this basin, this reservoir of people. And then from there, I can have elite training or more aggressive training or whatever. We talked to a gentleman, oh gosh, what state was he in? Anyway, we talked to a gentleman the other day and he goes, well, I only want to train, I only want to train fighters. But he hasn't, okay, great. That's great. The problem with that, if I only want to do that is, unless you have serious notoriety, who knows about you? And even then, how much money are you really going to make? Right. And so his whole thing, because he's a big Krav guy, he's really into Krav. Yeah. Yes, sir. Actually, a famous fighter trainer here. And yeah, what was that number you said, sir? Zero. And I would put him up against any trainer out there. I mean, he's trained some of the most famous people on the planet. So the problem is that's what we want to do, but then we also have to look at, okay, well, how can I impact more people's lives? And from there, we'll might have some people that bubble up into this higher level training, right? And if I want to make money doing this martial art thing that we love, I have to embrace the idea that I'm here to teach large numbers of people. I'm here to impact their lives in a positive way. And if I build a big reservoir of people, then I can afford to do whatever else I want to do in terms of high level training or whatever. The money's there. Years ago, we used to have a travel competition team. That wasn't my business. That was a side thing that we did because it brought me joy. The business was helping families train in martial arts. And because we were really good at that, well, then we get to do this competition training and go travel all around the country. Right. But unfortunately, people think, well, that's the most important thing. And in terms of your business, if anything, it goes the opposite direction. It can bury you. It can ruin you in turn, for your business. So I think getting more, like if you were to come visit one of our schools today, you'd see 40 people plus in a class, and half of them are parents. Now, we also enroll some single adults, which I always, in the beginning, I thought, well, that's interesting. But we've enrolled people in their 20s, 30s, 40s that have no children in our program at all. And even they go into the family class because they see all the other adults out there. And they realize, oh, well, there's people out there just like me too. Okay, yeah, I'll sign up. No problem. Because we're not partnering up 45-year-old men and 8-year-old little girls as partners. I mean, that's ridiculous. But they can all train at the same time. And because we have kids and adults in the same class, they can all have partners that are appropriate. And it's fun to train with. It's super fun to train with. So let's see. There's another question on here. What are your rebuttals when someone says you're too expensive or they can't afford the price? Yes.
May I tackle that one?
Yes.
All right, first off, you gotta evaluate, when did they hear about the tuition that you want them to pay? Typically, when I hear this, when an academy owner, operator, or manager or chief instructor has trouble overcoming the objection of you're too expensive or I can't afford you, it's because your timing was all wrong when asking for the money. If I write this down, if the first time they hear about your tuition rate is when you're attempting to enroll them, put them on a membership, whether it's an app or a piece of paper, if that's the first time they hear about price, you will hear that objection more often. Because listen closely, most people need time to fully evaluate value. Now, what you talking about, Lewis? In other words, they have to have an idea of what your tuition will be before you invite them to enroll. But they can't find out before they show up. They have to find out in the middle of your overall presentation while enrolling. We call that a price drop. Now, so here's what it sounds like. As you show people around your academy, because again, when somebody comes in your academy for the very first time, everything they see doesn't make any sense. They don't know what the bags are. They have no idea you spent 15 grand on the matting. It's just a big, giant, empty room. So that room doesn't necessarily represent value. So automatically, a lot of people think, well, it's an empty room. They're just punching, kicking, chopping, and blocking. It can't be that expensive. But what I do during the tour when I'm showing them around, and the tour consists of you pointing out features of your academy and explaining how the student benefits. An example would be, hey, man, Mrs. Lewis, one of the great things about our academy is our safety floor, this matting. Not only is it the best surface for keeping your balance, if a student were to slip and fall, it reduces any chance of injury. Here, feel how soft that is. Yeah, not every academy has a flooring like this. Pretty good idea, isn't it? So what I just did, I pointed a feature, the mats, and I told them the benefit. Now, after I've done a couple of those, and you can pick out the features you want to point out, pro shop, card rack, equipment you use, matting, whatever, I need to do a price drop. And I'm doing this price drop not to invite them to sign up, but to give them an idea of tuition. And also to give them enough time to help me help them realize that this is a great value. And the price drop sounds like this. Oh, just let you know, Mrs. Lewis, the tuition for your entire family is only $5.98 a month. And I'm just going to sit there. Now, half the time they go $5.89 a month, I had no idea. And then you calm them down by saying, well, after our first lesson today, if you love as much as I know you will, we'll review the tuition options and we'll figure out something that'll fit your budget. But I got to give them a big number. And that big number might shake them up. That big number they might be almost disturbed by it. Like, oh, I had no idea. But now that they have this number in their head, as I continue my presentation and I do my PA to find out what they want to accomplish and what impact that might present, as I teach the first lesson that knocks their socks off and demonstrates to the parent that the kid can do it, he's going to be pretty good at it, and they can't believe how lucky they are to have found me as an instructor. Now what's happened is their mind has been changed about the value. Write this one down. Price is always a concern until value is understood. And in our line of work, to appreciate the value, they have to have the experience of your instruction. So now what's happened, I did the price drop some 10, 15 minutes ago. Now they begin to realize why the tuition is what it is. Now listen, when you price drop, give them the full-fledged, full-on, full price. Like for example, for a family to come to class 3 times a week, that's what the tuition rate is. It would be $600 a month. But that gives them a margin to realize what the full value is. And then if we got to fall back a little bit because it's only going to be for Timmy or they're only going to come once or twice a week, it makes more sense. But to overcome the cost objection at the point of sale, it's almost frivolous. It almost doesn't matter because it's too late. So in order to get more people to recognize the value of the membership, you got to price drop them midway through the overall presentation and price drop them on a family membership. So now they have a contrast. Oh, no, it's just for Timothy. So in their brain, they go from 600 down to 299. It's a dynamite strategy to help more people recognize that your value, well, they're going to find a way to make it affordable. So the idea that I got to break out the fisticuffs and argue and go back and forth with somebody who says it's too expensive, they can't afford it, you showed up too late. But let's take it one step further. Yes, some people cannot afford it. And that's unfortunate, but some people cannot afford it. So, and this is where the volume of presentations makes up the difference, where if you are running into that, well, maybe you're soliciting to the wrong audience. Maybe your ad is making the wrong offer, so we can dissect that further. But listen, premium tuition is a shortcut to overall success. Next question.
And just to cap off on that, you're right. In the beginning, your goal is to enroll at least half. And as you get the dialogue better and you get better at connecting with the people and building that value, you'll climb to from 50 to 60, 70, 80% conversion rate. But even at that, they're not all saying yes. If you're enrolling everybody, you either A, are not enrolling very many people. People go, oh, I signed up, everybody comes in. Well, how many did you last month? Well, we had 2. Okay, I can believe that. But if you're doing real business, you're attracting a lot of people. You're fishing with a cargo net, not a rod and reel, which means you're going to get more than what it is you're looking for. And you throw them back. You sort through and you keep the good ones and you toss back the bad ones, let them know they're always welcome back. But we had a family, it happens every week. Well, we just can't afford it. Even after all the fallbacks and all the preparation, and they still just can't afford it. Well, that's okay. Hey, you know what? We're not going anywhere. And please know you are always welcome back. We would love to help your family. But if now's not the right time, it's okay. Hey, let's press pause and let's come back and try it again in the future when you're ready. Okay. So, I mean, you just let them down easy.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
especially let's help this audience conjure up 3 ways you can make your membership. Let's go six. 6 ways you can make your membership more valuable. I'll
Okay.
go first. Ready? Be impeccably clean and organized. This one time, I'm just like a band camp story. This one time I walked into an academy and I did what's called an audit, where I just walked around, checked it out. Later that night, I sat in the lobby and watched the classes. But anyway, I walked in this academy the very first time, and at the last chair in the lobby, there was a box, and I could tell the box was filled with some stuff. So I walked down there and I checked it out, and it was a box of condiments for a barbecue. There was a jar of relish. There were a couple of bottles of ketchup. There were 2 different types of mustard. There were a bunch of plastic knives and spoons right there in the lobby. And I asked the gentleman, I said, "What's that all about?" Oh, that was from the picnic. It was in December. The picnic was way back in August. You have no idea how that degrades you have no idea how that degrades the perception of value. So one of the easiest things you can do that costs really no money is to be impeccably cleaned and organized. Here's the goal. You have to make your academy cleaner than the house they live in. Well, Fred, I don't know how they live. We'll pretend you do. And make it impeccably clean. Matt Special, give me another one. How to make it more valuable.
Make sure you look right. You know, is your uniform clean? Is it pressed? Does it look right? Does it look right? Do you look right?
Do you look like you're going to work, or do you look like you're going to work out? Hey, listen, dressing up like you just worked out doesn't impress anybody. As a matter of fact, look, I'm wearing my colors here, the whole warrior martial arts. You will never see me in a t-shirt, never, unless I'm working out with you, of course. You will never see me in flip-flops. You will never see me dress lesser than the perception I want to promote. Because I'm telling you, it does matter. Oh, Fred, you're just going over the top. It does matter. Imagine this. You go see your doctor and he has his white schmuck on, but he has a spaghetti stain. He's the wrong doctor. So one of the things you can do to make your program more valuable is make sure everybody looks sharp. Here's another one. Everything has its place. And one of the things that makes you less valuable is when you confuse a member of what you are. For example, having stuff thumbtacked to the wall, having notices taped to the mirror, having trash cans that are over full, all that degrades the perception of value. What was that, 3? We need 3 more. Who else wants to volunteer? One of the ideas we can put that doesn't really require money, requires effort, to make your program seemingly more valuable. Go ahead, sir. Master Hackelman, go ahead.
Be out of shape. Be fat. Be out of shape.
Yeah. I tell you, I appreciate you bringing that up. You got to look like what you say you are. You know, when we talk about discipline and tenacity and endurance, you got to look at it. You got to stay in shape, guys. You got to stay in shape. And on that theme, don't let your people see you eat. I mean, they don't need to see that you drove by Five Guys and got the burger and fries. They don't need to see that. They need to think you sleep on a bed of nails and all you have for dinner is a sip of water. That type of projection changes people's minds about your ability to lead by example. You know, it's so misunderstood. Leading by example is you project this persona that everyone wants to emulate. And that doesn't cost you anything, but it will certainly help you afford everything. Hey, I need one more before we move on.
We have 3 in the comments. Joel Brown says consistency is key. Rich says a pro shop provides all they need. And Barb says greet people when they come in immediately. And that one is a biggie too. I appreciate that, ma'am. Is that when people come in, not only do you need to greet them right away, but even take it a step further, how do you greet them? Like at all of our schools, when a new person walks in, we will bow, feet together, hands to your side, bend at the waist and say, "Hello, ma'am, you must be whoever they are. And this must be Timmy. It's great to meet you. I want to knock you back on your heels the moment you come in the door, because if I want to create a unique experience, because again, this is an emotional deal that we sell. It's a relationship. And when you walk in the front door, they go into businesses all the time. But if you walk in the front door and you're immediately treated differently than you've ever probably been treated in your entire life, I have your attention already. I've got a big head start. So yeah,
And we walk the talk. For those, a few of you popped on a little late, but Roman's job is to greet everyone. And if you notice, when everybody comes on, he didn't greet him. He thanked him for being on board. He made mention that if they're new or not. Greetings set the stage for engagement. It's unbelievable to me that when I visit a martial arts school, no one even makes eye contact. I mean, maybe it's the look I carry. I don't know. But if you're not able to meet and greet people, you're not setting up the opportunity for a relationship. Be friendly, be outgoing, be encouraging, be dynamic. Make this hour that they're going to spend with you the best hour of their entire day. And how it starts determines if it's going to be a good hour. And start with a greeting. Next question, sir.
Well, all right. So the last question I think we probably have time for is a really good one, and that is from Master Hackelman. Is there a down payment also? Earlier in the conversation, we are talking about the different monthly tuition rates based on attendance. And yeah, there is always an initial investment. So we don't call it a down payment. In fact, just the other day, I was doing a presentation and I had a dad. He goes, well, what's that down payment all about? What is that for? And the answer is that's simply a portion of the overall tuition to make the monthly payments more affordable. He's like, oh, okay. It's not for insurance. It's not for the association. It's not to pay. It's just part of the tuition. Now, the reason why having an initial investment is so important is because if you have staff, that's the money that will cover their compensation, their bonuses and commissions. And B, it helps generate more revenue for your academy. And lastly, a real big reason to have it is it's a lever to pull to get an action to happen right now. For example, if you sell a 2-week trial like we do, then by enrolling today, we're going to buy back that trial, saving you $125. As a matter of fact, I'm so confident that this is the right time to get started and your kid's going to do great that we'll match that money. So we're going to save you $250 by enrolling today. So that initial investment, instead of $345, heck, it's only $95. How does that sound? I go, oh, that sounds really good. Why? I'm able to draw a contrast and a sense of urgency that you save a whole lot of money because we're doing it right now. And now sometimes people ask, well, what if they don't enroll in their first visit? Do you still save them the money? Not that much. I can't. I told them this is for enrolling today. Now, if you don't enroll today, hey, that's okay. I'm not going to be mad. Let's schedule your next lesson. And when you come back, I'm going to tell you, hey, now I know we didn't enroll on your first visit, but I know you're as convinced as I am now that you've seen it twice. So let's go ahead and get enrolled. And that way we can still save you some money. And we'll maybe save them half of the discount. And it works magnificently. Yes, sir.
All right. So by charging initial investment, this number, you can leverage the savings. And Master Pesky clarified that. But let's take it a step further. But what if they say, well, I'm just not really sure, and the money doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and finish my trial to make a firm decision. You got them. And here's what I mean by you got them. You feed it back to them. So, Mrs. Lewis, for you to make a firm decision whether or not we're the right academy, you need to use the entire trial membership, the full 2 weeks. Yeah. That's what I need to do. We need to make sure that this is the right membership. We're going to do the full test drive. Got them. And here's what I'll do. Mrs. Lewis, I understand. So here's what we'll do. If you need the full next 2 weeks to make a decision if we found the right martial art academy, well, that's certainly your prerogative. But I want to help you save the money. So here's what we can do. Let's go ahead and enroll tonight. Let's take care of the paperwork. You go ahead and save the money by using a debit or credit card for the balance. And I'm gonna sign off on a 2-week satisfaction guarantee. Over the next 2 weeks, the same length of time that you think you need to make a firm decision. During that 2 weeks, if for any reason you think it was a misstep today, enrolling, saving the money, I'll shred the agreement and refund 100% of the tuition you paid. That's fair enough, isn't it? So just let them use it, but don't you lose it. Well, that sounded pretty cool. Let them use the 2 weeks, but don't lose the opportunity to save them money. Don't lose the opportunity to help them make some type of a formal commitment to improve the likelihood that they'll actually participate for the next 2 weeks. Be backs very seldom be back. So assert yourself. Say, Ms. Smith-Lewis, I understand if you feel like your family needs the full 2 weeks to decide, that's okay. But we're not going to miss out on the savings. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and put in writing our 2 week satisfaction guarantee. The next 2 weeks, the same length of time for your trial membership. If for any reason you think it was a mistake by enrolling tonight, then shoot me a text, send me an email, heck, use smoke signals. Now, let me know that you think you made a mistake. I'll shred the agreement and refund 100% of your money. That's fair enough, right? Do that. Now, if they still don't move forward, well, you got your answer. They're not able to move forward. And these are more advanced sales tactics, not to trick people or bamboozle them or provide high pressure, but to let them do what they think they need to do. But I don't want them to miss out on the savings. I don't want them to miss out on the experience of taking this step, putting their kid or putting themselves in a membership that's going to have a dramatic impact in their life. I just saw another one. Another suggestion. Be respectful of time. Start and end classes on time. Whoever said that, thank you for bringing that up. The one thing you can do to come across like a professional is to show up on time. Now, there are times you can. There are personal emergencies, all kinds of stuff. But the easiest thing you can do to demonstrate your level of professionalism is to use the clock. If the class is over at 5:45, bow the class out at 5:45. Extending class time doesn't necessarily provide more service. As a matter of fact, it's discourteous because most families are on a very tightly wound schedule, and you starting late and extending the time of class sometimes gums up their schedule and doesn't allow them to do what they need to do to take care of themselves and their families.
Mhm.
All right. So is there another question, Master Peshke?
That's it. I think that's a perfect way to wrap this up for today. All of you guys are invited to click the link. If Roman, if you could drop that in there, because we give a lot of tactics and ideas of what we do, but the truth is the people that really excel, we work with them on a higher level and really get in there and dig in and teach them how to have the right conversations and the words to say to have a bigger impact. And if you'd like to learn more about that, click that link, schedule a free call. We'll share more information and see if it makes sense for you. And if not, hey, no harm, no foul. You're welcome on these calls all the time because we are here to help. So I think, just to kind of touch base on what Master Merchants just said, I used to be that way. You go back 25 years ago, it's like I'd run class over because I was on a roll. And I thought, oh, they love it because I'm giving them the goods. The truth is you're making them upset and you're making them think less of you because now they're going to be late to whatever they've got next on their schedule because you couldn't shut up. Now, I don't say that to be mean or rude, but that's the fact. Just this weekend, my wife donates blood at blood source every 8 weeks, her and a couple of other people. And we were driving down there. We were running a few minutes late. And she goes, yeah, but it doesn't really matter. They're always late. And I laughed. And I said, see, that's what the karate guys don't realize. They think less of you when you run late. And it doesn't matter if it's the front of the class or the back end of the class. When you run late, they treat you less professionally because you're being less professional. Be punctual, be courteous, take good care of your people, and charge real money. Life gets fun. All right. So on that note, guys, have a great day. I'm so glad you guys were here. Master Thompson, good to see you, sir. You guys, if you, again, click the link, schedule a time. We'd love to visit with you. Thank you, Ms. Stevens. And we'll see you all on the next call. Bye, everybody.